Hi guys, this is my 2004 GMC Jimmy. It's got a 2.5 inch rough country lift on it and 31 inch tires with some Vision wheels on it. And I had another one before this. I had a High Rider before, but I sold it to my niece. But anyways, I wanted another one, so this is what I got. So anyways, as you can tell, I put spare tire carrier on the top. I just made an aluminum rack basically and mounted that up to the existing rack, and that's where my spare sits. And then on the back I modified it to hold a jackall, and then I've also got some fin grips on there. I put my axe and my shovel in there, and then I just bungee cord the crap out of them to keep them on there. But so far this has been a pretty good rig. But the newest project that I just started, and well, I shouldn't say I just started, now I've just finished, but is that I have a 9,500 pound winch installed on this thing, hidden behind the bumper. And I looked all over on YouTube and I couldn't find anything on there. So I saw big trucks, like full-size trucks, but nothing, no small ones. So that's been the project. So let's carry on. This is the winch plate that I came up with after dicking around forever trying to get everything all figured out where it's supposed to be, but it's quite the design. But seems like it's gonna work pretty good. I don't know, I guess only time will tell. But yeah, all I did was, this is all stuff I had laying around. I didn't go buy any steel or anything, but being as I had to cut out quite a bit of it to get everything to fit, I'll flip it over, and I did reinforce the backside. Put some 1/4 by 1 1/8 flat bar, and the only reason it's 1 1/8 is because that's what I cut out with my plasma cutter. But yeah, the rest is just, I had some checker plate kicking around for that, so it should be good enough for what it needs to do. But nothing special, but should work. This is the winch plate. No winch, no bumper, no nothing. But you can see on the frame right here all the metal I had to cut out of that thing to get that winch to fit in there, and didn't have to go as much on the other side. But to mount it, all I did was I turned these hooks upside down, or turned them around, whatever you want to call it, so that they're facing out instead of in. Mine were in. And but on the bottom of the winch plate, there's the 2 bolts there that attach the stock tow hooks to the frame. So that's where the frame laps over and doubles up, so it's as strong as it's going to be. But you can see the reinforcing I put on this plate, and all the way across here, just to try and strengthen it up a bit. And yet I cut the notch out of here so that you can get access to that stupid remote oil filter that I really don't like. But I saw a delete kit on there, or a delete system on there, but I didn't like that either, so guess I'll just deal with it for now. So this is the main steel part of your bumper, and you can see how much steel I had to cut out of there to get it to fit. There was an opening right in here kind of thing, all existing, and I just kind of extended it both sides. And then I cut with a hole saw in these corners, and cut it up here and rounded it off, and because that's pretty much what I had to cut out of there to get enough clearance for that bumper to fit on over top of that winch. So not really a whole lot of modification here, just to cut out some of the metal, and that was it. And let's face it, if you look at these bumpers, if you're actually looking for this bumper to do anything, if you get into an accident, you're dreaming. These things are made out of paper. There's nothing to them. So I mean, this is more or less just to, you know, this whole winch install is just to make it look like it's stock, but it ain't. So yeah, so this piece just, the plastic pops over top of here, and yeah, I'll show you what I had to do to that plastic. So here's the inside of that plastic, and you can see how much I had to actually that I cut out of that, where the license plate mount goes, so that everything can fit in there. But also on this side right here, you can see I had to cut a piece starting right there, kind of an angled piece, and then a loop up here like this, and a bit of a hunk here too, to get clearance on that winch. And the other side I didn't have to do anything to that side, but this side here I had to do a bit. And that was the only modifications I had to do to the plastic. Oh, I had to cut a, like you can see, a kind of a circular piece right here. I had to trim that out of there too, because it was hitting it. So, but that's all I had to do on the plastic. Forgot to mention that there's these 3 tabs right here that hold the plastic onto the steel. And there's 2 push pins, actually, those plastic push pins that went right up here. Well, I had to cut all this crap off. So there's nothing that's really holding this plastic to this steel. So I'm gonna have to, like right about here or something, is just, I was thinking maybe just get a fender washer and a self-tapping screw, and screw it from the outside in, so that it just screws that plastic to the steel. Because other than that, there's nothing holding this damn thing on. So you know, the only thing it locates is where it pops into those pieces on the front fender right there. It snaps onto those. But I thought, I'll just drive a couple of self-tappers in there and call her good. So I made this little bracket thing that welds onto the bottom of the battery tray. I cut a hole in it so that this stupid thing, come on, so that this the wires and everything here can come through from underneath. And that bracket's there for is the piece that I made for the control box for the winch is going to bolt to that, because I have nowhere down below where that winch control box can go. So I thought, well, we'll try this out and see how it works. So I've had it in there before. It seems like it's going to be all right. So I'll go grab that control box, and I'll show you what I did there. So this is the winch control box that came with it, because obviously hidden winch like that, especially on those things, there's no damn room for nothing. So I made that bracket, this bracket here, that mounts to that bracket that I got on the bottom of the battery tray, and it just bolts on the back like it normally does. But I extended all of these cables here. I moved some of them around, and because this one was originally in this position so that it had more length to make it up to the battery. Well, I don't need that now since I'm going right to the battery, so I swapped the 2 red ones around. Anyways, I moved. This one is now power supply coming, this one's now power supply coming in. This one is positive to the battery. I marked this one with a yellow zip tie. That's going to the winch. So all 3 of these ones here are going to the winch, and this brown one, which should be black, but I didn't have any black, so it's brown now, but that's the ground that goes to the bottom of the winch. So I'll get that bolted up in there, and we can have a look. I made these really long. These are horrendously long, way longer than I needed, but I had no idea how I was going to do this thing when I started this. So I figured I had this. This is just 00, I think, welding cable that I had. I had a bunch of it here, so I figured why not use it. So I got lots anyhow. So here's the winch control box all crammed in there. I can pull that damn hose off for now, but yeah, it fits in there all nice and neat and tidy, and there's still room on this side between the alternator and there. And I had to move a couple wires and stuff around, but whatever. And then put this, modified this the stud coming out of the battery, and just put a piece of 3/8 ready rod in there that I cut off to length. I don't like these things, but it'll do for now. And I'd rather have just get a 300 amp automatic circuit breaker and stick it in there, but whatever, came with it. So yeah, so this is your port for your remote, and then all the wires go down right, I don't know if you can see that or not, but they're kind of all running down, straight down beside the radiator, popping out the bottom. And you can see how much I got laying on the ground now. Yeah, I had just a tad too much, but that's okay. I can cut them off to whatever I need them and solder some new ends on and hook all that up, and we should be good to go. So a little bit of rewiring and we're off to the races here. So this is just the bumper with the winch plate built, and nothing else on there. It's just all raw metal right now. Nothing's been painted or anything, but you can see how I cut that out on the front, and bumper's not even attached right now. It's just sitting there. So. But you can see what I had to cut out there, kind of thing. It's not a, well, it was quite a bit actually, but right where the license plate, the factory license plate mounts, I just kind of figured it out, and that's where that's all the plastic I had to cut out there. But it fits pretty good actually. It's a little bit of a gap up top, I noticed, but when you're trying to do this all by yourself, it's really hard to get an idea of where everything should be. And there it is, all done. Bumper's back on, winch is all hooked up, wires are all cut. Everything's sitting where it should be. Now, one thing I didn't show you guys before was I made this, whoops, where's my remote? I cut this notch out in here so you can reach down and actually put it into freewheel mode. All you gotta do is just, there's enough room you can pop it up there. I was gonna cut that bumper out too, but then I thought, what the fuck, might as well just leave it. So I just left it. But anyhow, remote, winch, in, out, does what it's supposed to do. So, but here's the clearance on the winch itself. If you look, I made sure there was lots of clearance, so nothing was banging into it or anything. And I still think I could have filled this in a little bit, but maybe I'll do that later on, who knows. It's not really that important. But the other side is, whoops, lots of room there. So, but yeah, everything went in there really good and turned out pretty nice. It doesn't look too bad either. That's one thing I've seen I've seen a few of the Blazers with, and the Jimmys with winches on them, and God, they're atrocious looking things. So this actually looked kind of nice and neat. So bumper's a little bit beat up. Well, it was before. It's my bush truck, so it gets used in the bush. But anyways, I think I'm just gonna hook that hook to the tow hook that's there, and tighten her up a little bit and call it done. So, it was a fun little project, and I don't know, I guess only time will tell to see how this winch lasts anyway. So I know I had some grounding issues when I first put it in there, because I painted everything. It wasn't the body of the winch wasn't grounding and nothing was working, so I had to take everything, or I had to take it out and grind all the paint and crap off of there and then put it all back together again, and it was working no problem. So but anyways, guys, have a good one.